Lesson 16. Direct and indirect quotations. A quotation is the exact word or words that a person speaks. It's good to understand the difference between a direct quotation, the words you hear from someone speaking, and an indirect quotation, which are the words that someone else uses to describe another speaker. Somebody else speaks and you are quoting how the other person said. It's called indirect speech. Confused? When you are confused, it helps to look at an example. Okay, let's see some examples. Direct quotation. I need to go to the store, said my wife, said my mother. Indirect quotation. How do you write this in indirect form? My wife said that she needed to go to the store. My mother said that she needed to go to the store. This is called direct, and this is called indirect. Notice that said is in the past tense, so the verb need also becomes past tense. Look, say, said, right? So here the need also becomes past tense. Okay, so you have to need here is present form, simple form, because it is a direct speech. This one is indirect speech, so it is told in past tense. There is something called the sequence of tenses. Sequence of tenses, which is useful to look at now. Let's see the sequence of tenses. Direct speech to indirect speech. How the sequence takes place. Okay. Present in direct speech becomes past in indirect speech. Conversion. Okay. Present continuous becomes past continuous in indirect speech. Past becomes past perfect in indirect speech. Present perfect becomes past perfect in indirect speech. Will becomes would. Can becomes could. May becomes might. Okay, these are all the sequence of tenses. There are others that can be added, but this is a good start in learning that tenses change their form when using indirect speech. Let's see more examples. I am a beekeeper, says this man. What did he say? He said he was a beekeeper. Look, am become was here. Right? Another example. I am reading a book, says this boy, to direct speech. What did he say? He said that he was reading a book. Was reading. He said that he was reading a book. Was reading. I am reading becomes was reading. Present continuous, past continuous. Remember the rule here, present continuous, past continuous. Present becomes past. Past becomes past perfect. Here the present becomes past. Let's see one more example. I was afraid of spiders when I was a little girl. Direct speech. Repeat. I was afraid of spiders when I was a little girl, says this lady. What did she say? She said she had been afraid of spiders when she was a little girl. She said she had been afraid of spiders when she was a little girl. Look, I was afraid. Direct speech becomes she said had been afraid. Past becomes past perfect. Like the present perfect or past becomes past perfect. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Here we saw past becoming past perfect. Was past and had been was past perfect. She had been, I was, become she had been. Okay. Let's see one more example. I have been in the same spot for an hour and I haven't caught a thing. Direct speech. I have been in the same spot for an hour and I haven't caught a thing. What did he say? He said that he had been in the same spot for an hour and he hadn't caught anything. He'd been becomes had been. You remember that. He said that he'd been in that same spot for an hour and he hadn't caught anything. Look, have been, present perfect become past perfect. Remember the rule, present perfect becomes past perfect. Have been became had been. Have, past tenses, had. He plus had becomes he had. He had been in that same spot. Okay. He had been is past perfect. Okay. Let's see one more example. The direct speech. Look at that person making breakfast. We enjoy making breakfast together. We enjoy making breakfast together. What did they say? They said that they enjoyed making breakfast together. Right? Enjoy become enjoyed. Present becomes past. One more example. Direct speech. This guy is telling to that girl, I'll help you pick them up. I will become, I'll help you pick them up. What did he say to her? He said he would help her pick up the apples. He said he would help her pick up the apples. Remember the rule, will become would, can become could, etc. So, we will go to another example. He can eat an entire watermelon, his wife said. Look, he can eat an entire watermelon, his wife said. What did his wife say? His wife said that he could eat an entire watermelon. Look, can became could. His wife said he could eat an entire watermelon. One more, final one. Direct speech. This radio may be over 70 years old, said the owner of the antique shop. Maybe. May becomes might. Remember the rule. The owner of the antique shop said that the radio might be over 70 years old, right? The owner of the antique shop said that the radio might be over 70 years old. Good job.